Been to the hills of Carolina, walked through her woods and her trees. I've climbed to the top of Grandfather Mountain, heard the lone eagle scream, so I stopped, took a good look around, knew that I was standing on sacred ground. Waded into the blue Pacific, hiked Rainier's mighty slopes. I prayed among the giant sequoias, seeking a morsel of hope, and I stopped, took a good look around, knew that I was standing on sacred ground. Stood on the red rocks outside of Denver, watched the Rockies' first snow, tried to drive the peaks late September. There was no way to go, so I stopped, took a good look around, knew that I was stranded on sacred ground. I can see the shaking of the aspens, I can hear the weeping of the oaks, voices of my brothers and my sisters, who I never will let go. Stood in the shallows of the St. John's River, felt her Blackwater pass. I've been baptized in the Ocklawaha. Can we free her at last? So I stopped and took a good look around. Knew that I was standing in sacred ground. Paddled into the springs with no names, dove deep in the blue and the green. Made my peace among the gators and cypress. Some days just feels like a dream, so I stopped, took a good look around. Knew that I was floating above sacred ground. I can see the shaking of the hammers, I can hear the clearing of our land. Listen now, my brothers and my sisters, 'cause it's time to take a stand. So stop, take a good look around. Know that you are standing on sacred ground. Please just stop, take a good look around. Know that you are sitting on sacred ground.
That prelude is called Sacred Ground and was performed by our speaker today and his wife, Kay and Paul Garfinkel. And I've continued to spell it wrong. I'm a child of the era, but welcome, welcome, and what a beautiful, beautiful song. And that was written by, there we go. So give credit where credit is due. There we go. All right. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you out today. It's going to be a special treat today to have the music with the Garfinkels. Welcome, friends gathered in the sanctuary on Zoom and later on our YouTube channel. It's so good to be together today. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Franklin, to the Smoky Mountains of Western North Carolina and Georgia, and the ancestral home of the Cherokee people. We're a lay-led congregation of progressive minds and caring connections for 54 years now. My name is Jude Lowry. I'm your humble president, and I'm delighted to also be your service leader today. Now, visitors, we extend a warm welcome to all of you for being with us today, whether it's your first time or you're returning or you just visit with us annually. There will be an opportunity. We're so glad to have you with us, and we want to get to know you better. There will be an opportunity for you to introduce yourself later. No pressure. We're not trying to put you on the spot. I know some of our introverted friends are like, please just don't do this to me. It's okay. But there will be an opportunity if you'd like to. And if you would also like to get our newsletter to know what's going on, out in the foyer there's a notebook where you can sign up with your details to get an email newsletter and know what's going on in the fellowship. Now, as we gather each Sunday, we do take a moment to greet each other. And we greet our friends on Zoom. There's a camera over that window over there. We call ourselves the Roomies and them the Zoomies as an affectionate nickname. So the Roomies, if you would please rise in body and spirit and wave hello to the Zoomies, and then stay standing. Paul's going to treat us with a 123 in the hymn book for Spirit of Life, if you'd like to follow along and sing with him. And I'm going to do our sign language if you'd like to do that. 123 in the gray hymnal, Spirit of Life.
All right, we'll give this a shot.
Give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
Is there a problem? Problem? Okay.
Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in my hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Thank you, thank you. Wave hello to all of our Zoomies out there, and they'll wave back at us. Well, we're just glad to have everybody here in whatever form they can be here, virtual or real. Our fellowship is a light for a liberal religion in the mountains that values diversity and all the richness it brings to our community. Our celebration of diversity is reflected in the variety of Sunday services that we have. Both their topics, lengths, sequence can all vary. We gathered this morning in the sanctuary built on opening words. We gathered this morning in a sanctuary built on old and stubborn hope. That truth, spoken plainly and sung loudly, it's loudly enough, can outlast fear. Today, we remember two Americans who believed that. Stetson Kennedy spent 5 decades walking into rooms that nobody wanted him in. Klan meetings, company towns, the underside of Jim Crow, Florida, and writing down what he saw. Woody Guthrie carried the same conviction on his back in a guitar case. Famously declared that it killed fascists. And in songs that gave voice to Okie families fleeing the dust and despair, to migrant workers bent over rows of California fruit. They were friends. They understood each other's tools. Kennedy's pen, Guthrie's music, as two instruments tuned to the same person to make cruelty visible, to make solidarity sound like something worth singing. Whether we are their inheritors, whether we knew their names before today or not. So let us settle in, let us listen, and let us light this flame in the company of two lives that remind us what courage set to music or to paper can still do. We hope today's service enriches your journey of discovery. Now, our children are not with us today. Our story reader is not with us today. Our one child that is with us today wants to hear the music. Mary's pointing at somebody. Bonnie's here to read the story. Would you like to read the story, or would you like me to just take that whole segment out? Oh, no. Please, dear God, do not do the you thing. All right, who has the book? This Land is Your Land. All right, Bonnie is going to read us. We're all going to be children today. And Bonnie is going to read us the story, This Land is Your Land. We will not be singing the children out, because we're all going to stay. Come on up. Let me get you a chair. Here you go, Miss Bonnie.
It's a long way from 2 months ago tomorrow is when I went to the hospital.
Oh, yes, you're recovering still. We're going to put this down where we can hear your voice.
Okay.
All right? How we doing?
Testing.
I don't hear it.
Testing. Whoa.
Okay. You can sit naturally, and it'll pick you up.
Thank you. Always like to be lifted up. Yeah. This land is our land. As I was walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island. Day and night. From the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. That's a nice. I've roamed and rambled, and I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of her diamond deserts. And all around me a voice was sounding, this land was made for you and me. I'll get better at this one day.
You're doing great.
This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Oh, poor people on Zoom. Oh. When the sun came shining and I was strolling, and the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling, as the fog was lifting, a voice was chanting, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. hard to see this tiny pictures. As I went walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign it said, "No trespassing," and keep off. But on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forests to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. In the shadow of the steeple, I saw my people. By the relief office, I seen my people. As they stood there hungry, I stood there asking, is this land made for you and me? This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living can ever make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. Pictures. It says Woody Guthrie Memorial Highway. This land was made for you and me. I invite you to look at these pictures later. They're great.
I'll just slide it right over here. So how many of you sang the song as she was reading it? A lot of you know, but for the visitors, we have a fairly new emerging RE program for the children. And so some weeks we have to tap dance because we don't have all of our children. But we were good children for Bonnie and a lovely story. So thank you for reading that. We will not sing the children out. Judith made it very clear on our way here this morning. She wanted to hear the music. So our chalice lighting. We light this chalice for the truth tellers who walked into danger with open eyes. We light it for the singers who gave the forgotten a chorus to stand inside. We light it for Stetson and for Woody, for pen and for guitar, for fact and melody. We light it for ourselves, that we might find our own instrument for justice and the courage to use it. Our opening song will be Just For You. It's by Al Scortino, and it's performed by Paul and Kay Garfinkel. Opening song. And Al. Our opening song, Just For You. Please enjoy.
Come on up, kids. Now, I almost included This Land Is Your Land in my program this morning. But I decided to do a different one, less well known.
We're gonna let you in the middle, right?
Monkey in the Middle.
It's actually just like you, but
Oh, okay.
it's just, one adjective off, so. You good?
Fantastic.
And I'd like to thank this guy for forcing me to be included in this.
Franklin's finest.
came from everywhere. The faithful hit their knees. A voice came thundering from out of the clouds, and it shook all the trees. It said, "Children, listen close to me. This time try to get it right. Love your brother, it's as easy as it seems. Still you take each other's lives. I am Jesus, and I am Buddha. I am Vishnu, and Allah too. We are all one here together. We are all one, just like you." Then the sun came out, the clouds all disappeared. No one knew just what to say. They all had jobs to do, they had work to do. There still were bills to pay. Just like times before, they would soon forget. Tell themselves it was a dream. Just like times before, the power and the greed would fire up the war machines. I am Jesus, and I am Buddha. I am Vishnu, and Allah too. We are all one here together. We are all one, just like you. And so it came to pass, fire rained from the sky, laid the planet bare. And the last thing that anyone would hear was a voice that came from everywhere. Said, I am Jesus, and I am Buddha. I am Vishnu, and Allah too. We are all one here together. We are all one, just like you. You are Jesus, and you are Buddha. You are Vishnu, and Allah too. You are all one here together. You are all one. Is that it for now? That's it for now.
Well, as we're preparing for them to take over for my dog and pony show here, let me tell you a little bit about our guest speaker today. Paul Garfinkel is a retired medical research ethicist who lives in DeLand, Florida. He received his bachelor's degree in government and economics from Okie University in Westernville, Ohio, and a master's of health science from the University of Florida. He's also an award-winning singer-songwriter, recording artist, and concert producer. For more than a decade, he was a board member of the Stetson Kennedy Foundation in Jacksonville, Florida. Paul is a member of the D-Land UU Church, where he is a board member, music coordinator, service leader, member of several committees, including social justice and programming. Paul and his wife, his musical collaborator, Kay, have been married for 50 years. They have 2 daughters and 3 grandsons. What a beautiful family, and I'm so glad to have you with us today. His message, Leading by Example, Stetson Kennedy, Woody Guthrie, and Social Justice. I can't wait to hear. I'm going to go join down below so that I can see and hear everything, and we turn the time over.
Okay, well, hopefully you'll applaud when it's done. I'll wake you up just in case by then. We've got some slides to bring up. And I'll wait for those to start. Oh, there we go. Okay, you can go on to the next one. There we go, those 2 guys. Quick question for everybody before you heard about who this was about and saw the title of the program. Who actually knew both of these guys? Who would know them by sight? How about Woody? You know Woody by sight. Stetson, not so much, a little less well known. In 1947, Woody penned a letter to Stetson Kennedy after reading Kennedy's latest book, Palmetto Country. Mr. Kennedy received the letter at the home he called Beluthahatchee, a Seminole word translated as place of peace, or the happy hunting ground. Beluthahatchee is still there, nestled in the banks of a small lake just south of Jacksonville, Florida, formed when Kennedy and his father dammed the creek that ran behind the family's remote property. Woody wrote a small paragraph in that letter that ultimately had a huge impact on my life. The famous songwriter wrote the following: "One of these days, you can look for me and my guitar to come staggering up to your front porch there, and in all probability, we'll have a big, long talk. Keep on traveling where your own free conscience takes you, as you've always done anyhow, and there's no earthly ends to the goods and benefits you can perform." Well, Woody never did make it back to Beluthahatchee, the rural Florida retreat where he wrote more than 80 songs, and most of his autobiographical book titled The Seeds of Man, though Woody and Stetson remained lifelong friends and correspondents. Next slide, please. There we go. I had the great good fortune of meeting William Stetson Kennedy in the year 2000, while my wife Kay and I performed my own Florida songs on the back porch of an old farmhouse near Beluthahatchee during a community winter celebration. As you can see, we had an overflow crowd 26 years ago, but the important thing was that man on the far left in that white straw hat. That's Stetson Kennedy sitting there, and I had never met him before. He seemed to like the songs I had written, and he took a liking to me. One Sunday afternoon, not long after that first meeting, this little aging man who had infiltrated and exposed the Ku Klux Klan wrote the definitive expose on the South's horrendous Jim Crow era, had shepherded Zora Neale Hurston, among others, into the popular consciousness, who had been a candidate for Florida governor, and so much more, called me on the phone. Paul, this is Stetson Kennedy. What are you doing tomorrow? Remember, this is a Sunday night. I said, well, it's Monday, Stetson. I have to go to work. He said, well, what's Kay doing? Well, Mr. Kennedy, she's a teacher, and we'll be going back to school. Not tomorrow, he said. You're both calling in sick and coming out to Beluthahatchee. Arlo is in town for a concert tonight, and he's coming here for the first time, and I want you both to join us. And come early. I need some help cleaning the place up. Next slide, please. And thus, that huge impact on my life. Woody never made it back to Beluthahatchee, but his son, Arlo Guthrie, did. Kay and I were there when his tour bus pulled up and parked out on State Road 13. It would not fit down Stetson's skinny dirt driveway, and Arlo and his family came staggering up that dusty driveway to Kennedy's front porch. At one point, as we sat inside Stetson's place, he put an old cardboard box in Arlo's lap, saying to Arlo, here's Woody in a box. It was filled with letters sent to Stetson from Woody over the years. Opening one, Arlo read, here's a new poem. If you like it, send me 50 cents. The return address was New York City. Stetson described how he and Woody had melted lead to make their own ammunition for the old rifles that he still kept there. They shot at empty glass bottles to sharpen their shooting skills against what they believed was an inevitable raid by the local Ku Klux Klan. And much more about that later. Stetson pulled one of those rifles down from the wall and handed it to Arlo. This was your daddy's, he said. Those of us in this room could feel the emotion in Arlo as he held and sighted down the barrel of that same rifle that his father had held with a real purpose 50 years before. Late that night, as Arlo piloted his tour bus south toward his Florida home in Sebastian and away from Beluthahatchee, he waved goodbye with music recorded by Franklin's own Al Scortino and me and our band, the Ashley Gang, playing on his CD player. Next slide, please. William Stetson Kennedy was born in Jacksonville, Florida in 1916. He was raised in the heart of the segregated South. Stetson was largely raised by the family's black maid, Flo, shared that name with my mother, whose lived experience greatly influenced Kennedy's views on race. He witnessed the aftermath of Flo being beaten and raped by members of the KKK for having questioned a white bus driver about receiving incorrect change for her bus fare. Remembering the incident years later, Kennedy said, at a very tender age, I became aware that grown-ups were lying about a whole lot more than just Santa Claus. While a student at the University of Florida in 1936, he helped collect boats and blankets for the Spanish Republic during the Spanish Civil War. In 1937, Kennedy left UF to join the Federal Writers Project, a subsidiary of the Works Progress Administration under Roosevelt's New Deal. There he met, supervised, and helped nurture the nascent writing talent of Zora Neale Hurston, and traveled throughout Florida with famed folklorist Alan Lomax. His 1942 book, Palmetto Country, is largely a collection of anecdotes collected during those excursions with Lomax. In 1942, Kennedy became an editorial director for the CIO's political action community. He wrote a series of articles objecting to racist policies like poll taxes and white primaries designed to disenfranchise minorities and poor people. None of that's happening today, by the way. Kennedy viewed these tactics as part of an alliance with Northern industrialists to create what he called the slaveocracy. This became the basis for his second book, Southern Exposure. If you go to the next slide, please. Kennedy is probably best known for his infiltration of the Ku Klux Klan during the 1940s. I could spend hours and hours, and I have done programs just on this topic. But the Reader's Digest condensed version is this. With the assistance of the Anti-Defamation League, Kennedy led a double life as a CIO editorial director and as undercover Southern white supremacist John Perkins. Gaining the confidence of Klan leaders by securing a sales job with the racist magazine Southern Outlook, he was eventually able to gain admittance to the Atlanta-based Nathan Bedford Forrest Clavern No. 1 in Atlanta. That was the heart and soul of the Ku Klux Klan. From there, he sent reports of their activities, rituals, and code words to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That ultimately resulted in the revocation of the Klan's corporate charter, devastating their ability to operate legitimately and out in the open, largely in Georgia, but nationally. Through a series of personal connections, including the Anti-Defamation League, Kennedy became a consultant to the Superman Radio Hour in 1947. I just love this story. And helped frame the multi-part Klan of the Fiery Cross Superman series, in which Superman takes on the Klan in small-town America. You can find those episodes on the web with a quick Google search, and you should do it. You know, you get the "Here I come to save the day," the whole thing. No, that's Mighty Mouse. That's not Superman. We were talking about Mighty Mouse the other day, so that was on my mind. But you get the whole Superman thing, faster than a speeding bullet and all that. Needless to say, the damage done to the Klan by virtue of Stetson Kennedy's efforts were substantial. Think about that. When these days you see photographs in the paper and on TV of white masked supremacy groups on the subways of our nation's capital in contemporary America. In consideration of time, and I could talk forever about these things, I'll conclude my remarks about my old friend with this anecdote sent to me a couple of weeks ago by his widow, Sandra Parks. Next slide, please. At the age of 93, Stetson's last public demonstrations were in support of the Immokalee farm workers. Immokalee is a small town in South Florida, populated largely by Mexican farm workers. When Publix grocery stores, everybody know what Publix grocery stores is, kind of like Ingles, except it's in Florida. When Publix grocery stores refused to pay 1 penny more per pound for tomatoes, the farm workers held up signs outside local stores accusing Publix of exploiting them. That 1 penny would have gone a long way towards improving the lives of those farm workers. Stetson, at 93 years old, stood in the Florida heat in his business suit. He always went out in that suit, holding a sign that said, "Publix customers, support your farm workers." When the Immokalee farm workers decided to demonstrate in Publix's hometown of Lakeland, Florida, Stetson and Sandra took their signs to join the event. One of the organizers of that protest was Carrie Kennedy, daughter of Bobby Kennedy, the good Robert Kennedy. The march began at the Publix store in South Lakeland where Sandra used to shop. In fact, in the 1970s, Sandra was a volunteer with the Christian Migrant Ministry that helped migrant workers get needed medical services. Soon after they started the mile-long march, Stetson realized that he probably couldn't make the whole distance. So Sandra put him in the car and drove him to the large park beside the lake where the demonstrators would speak. Since the farm workers gave their speakers in Spanish, Stetson decided he would do the same. And that resulted in great shouts of support from the workers. Carrie Kennedy announced that she thought that she would claim Stetson as a cousin. Stetson replied, "A kissing cousin, I hope." And that is so Stetson if you knew him. Carrie gave him a big kiss. Sandra says it was one of the happiest that this elderly man ever received. The Stetson Kennedy Foundation, of which I was a board member for many years, continued communicating with the Immokalee farm workers. And just a few months ago, the foundation was formed that migrant workers were being harassed and arrested because their bicycles didn't have lights on them. Since workers are often in the fields before sunup and after sunset, this intimidation kept them from work. So the Stetson Kennedy Foundation sent the Immokalee farm workers money for bike lights. Stetson died in 2011, but clearly 15 years later, his legacy of commitment to social justice lives on. Now I'm going to grab a little drink before I turn briefly to the better-known Woody Guthrie, Stetson Kennedy's friend until the day he died. Next slide, please. There he is. Woody spent a great deal of time at Kennedy's Beluthahatchee in the second half of the 1940s. Having arrived in Jacksonville by train with his guitar and nothing more than the clothes on his back, and there finished the final draft of his book, The Seeds of Man, autobiography, and wrote 80 or so of his songs, almost all of which were about the sense of place and the social justice issues that also infused Kennedy's writings. Guthrie wrote songs about Florida's working class, including shrimpers and turnpike workers. The protest songs against Jim Crow, Southern segregation, and police brutality. He also wrote a little ballad about his host titled Beluthahatchee Bill. And as a slight aside, this song was used as the campaign theme for Kennedy's what turned out to be a write-in run and a smashingly losing one for governor in Florida. But during his time in New York, Woody wrote another unflattering tune about a certain New York City slumlord. The song was called Old Man Trump, referring to a certain president's father. About 3:00 a.m. one morning, after the Klan had been threatening Kennedy repeatedly and periodically vandalized the house that Kennedy lived in, Guthrie, who had been sleeping in his hammock, unsheltered as usual, was awakened by shouts and the smell of smoke. Woody, Kennedy, and several friends, both black and white, from up and down State Road 13, beat back a fire blazing in the pines on the Kennedy property. That fire, of course, instigated by the KKK. The trees became cinders, but those friends saved that house. A handwritten message left on the gate at the edge of the property on State Road 13 read, "Since 1866, the Ku Klux Klan has been riding and will continue to do so as long as the white man liveth." Written on the other side of that note were these additional words, "SK, Stetson Kennedy, you are finished. We have just begun. KKK." Woody and Stetson had been through some stuff together, and you can understand why they took that target practice that I mentioned earlier. Shortly after the fire, Woody wrote these words in definitive Woody Guthrie style. "I've been standing here thinking and drinking and drinking and thinking, and I wish I could outwit Mr. Whitman, outburn Mr. Burns, and outsand Mr. Sandberg and outpush Mr. Pushkin and come up with the answer to this KKK hate fire that keeps creeping along the yellow highway, going and coming out there. And I just kind of believe that if us folks will work together same way we done here tonight, we can stomp out that hellfire way back past the gateposts and fence lines, down all the highways and byways of America to the place where the stuff that gets its first goddamn start of the earth life. Next slide, please. There's one that you'll recognize. This was in fact the crystallization of Woody's philosophy that justice rises from people of all stripes, working together to smother the fires of hatred. After all, this land was made for you and me, right? Woody Guthrie was a hardcore social justice warrior in his own right, wielding that guitar and his words as his weapons of choice. That famous guitar on which he wrote letters large enough for an audience to read, "This machine kills fascists." His targets were economic injustice, fascism, corporate greed, and among others, the mistreatment of migrant laborers, a cause that he held in common with Stetson Kennedy. In a small town impromptu front porch sing-alongs, major big city concerts on the radio, and through the written word in his Woody Says syndicated newspaper column, Guthrie informed and inspired tens of thousands of Americans to stand tall for basic human rights. So I'll end with this story and a Woody Guthrie song that I hope you can sing along with. Next slide, please, and that'll be the last one of them. On January 28th, 1948, a DC-3 airplane crashed in the Diablo Range about 20 miles west of Coalinga, California. On board were 28 migrant Mexican farm workers and 4 U.S. citizens. Every one of them was killed. Reports of the crash listed the victims as the pilot, the first officer, an immigration guard, and a stewardess. The rest were simply referred to as deportees. Those 28 Mexican victims were buried together in a mass grave at Holy Cross Cemetery in Fresno under a grave marker that only said Mexican nationals. Woody Guthrie wrote a poem lamenting the namelessness of those unknown Mexican farm workers. That poem was later set to music by a college student named Martin Hoffman and became known as Deportee, or Plane Wreck at Los Gatos Canyon. It was popularized by Pete Seeger and subsequently performed by a whole bunch of people. Arlo Guthrie, Joan Baez, Judy Collins, Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, Dolly Parton, Johnny Cash, Bruce Springsteen, The Byrds, Richard Schindel, Ani DeFranco, and others, and now about to include you. It was about, I think, maybe 10 or 12 years ago that after all those years of research, the bodies, the names of every one of those Mexican farm workers was discovered and found out and placed on a memorial at that gravesite. And at that time, this song coming up was sung. So again, thanks for listening. Thanks for having me here. My gratitude to Robbie for inviting me, to Jude for hosting us and putting together this lovely service. I definitely appreciate it. I could speak for hours about each of these social justice warriors individually, but hopefully I was able to give you an introduction sufficient enough to motivate you to learn more about both. So please join me and Al and Kay on the chorus of this song that honors the plight of migrant farm workers and those threatened with deportation in 1948 and in 2026. Come on up, kids.
Well done, young man.
Thank you, sir. So quiet.
They are. It's very scary. Well, calm down.
This is my home congregation. They'd be whispering and maybe not so much whispering and pointing.
I'll slither away after this.
So if you know the chorus, please join in. I've rhythmically changed it a little bit, but you figure it out easily enough. You're smart people, I can tell just by looking. Crops are all in, peaches are ripe, the oranges are piled in the creosote dumps. They're flying them back to the Mexican border, take all their money way back again. My father's own father, he waded that river. They took all the money that he'd had in his life. My brother and sister come working the fruit trees. They rode on that bus till they took down and died. Goodbye to my Juan, goodbye Rosita, adios, mis amigos, se Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportee. Some of us are illegal, some are not wanted, our work contract's out, we have to move on. It's 600 miles to the Mexican border, they chase us like outlaws, like rustlers, like thieves. We die in your hills, we die in your valleys, we die in your deserts, we die on your plains. We die in your trees and we die in your bushes, both sides of the river, we die just the same. Goodbye to my Juan, goodbye Rosita, adios, mis amigos, se Maria. You won't have a name when you ride the big airplane. All they will call you will be deportee. So the sky plane caught fire, Los Gatos Can, a fireball of lightning that shook all our hills. Why are all these Brits now scattered like dry leaves? The radio said they are just deportees. Well, is this the best way to grow your big orchards? Is this the best way to grow your good fruit? To fall down like leaves and to rot in your topsoil and be known by
Thank you so much, Paul, Kay, Al. What a gift you have shared with us today, and we're so very grateful for you taking your time and your talents and giving us some things to think about. It's very interesting. Thank you very, very much. As we prepare for our time of connecting and announcements, introductions, joys, and concerns, please know that they will be edited out if this service is chosen to be posted on YouTube. As a lay-led congregation, we appreciate all of our volunteers. Nobody is more important. They are all equal, and together it's a village that makes this fellowship work as a community. But thank you to our morning tech team that makes the service happen. Warren, Edgar, Ben, Diane, Penny on Zoom, Claire for getting things on the YouTube channel. Our greeters today, Bill and Andrew, didn't miss that you clean up and sweep the front to make it presentable on Sunday mornings. And hospitality, as always, so we have treats downstairs. Dana, Paige, Karen, and Jeff, and I'm sure they could use some help, see them, so that we can make sure we have volunteers for setup and cleanup each week. We're working toward a sign-up sheet to do that. Now, to dedicate our and gratitude for our gifts. Here's the fun thing about technology. It's dictating what I'm saying while I'm trying to read it. Isn't that a fun deal? Okay, let's try to not do that anymore. Anyway, dedication of our gifts. And we are grateful for the diverse gifts of time, talent, and treasure. Some of those gifts, as we've said, provide for the community that we have here. We participate with the non-denominational group in town so that our voice is heard amongst all the congregations in the community. We have taken down the old building this year and used those resources that way. We've started the children's REC program. So you can see that the money that you donate to the fellowship goes for a lot more than just keeping the lights on. But all financial donations are appreciated, and you can do that at our plate at the back. You can also do that through PayPal. We have a celebration jar here at the front, and there is also downstairs for coffee, a donation basket for our coffee hour and things like that. Excuse me. So let's say together, gifts given in love and hope, continue a cycle of love and hope. So may it be. So if we have any church-related community announcements, let's go to Zoom first and see if anybody on Zoom has anything that they need to share with us. A last and final pebble for all those things that we carry that might be too heavy to share. We're with you, and we support you in your struggle, and we support you in your joys too. We're going to take a minute of silence so that you can choose to meditate, pray, reflect on the things that were said today, or anything in your heart that you'd like to take a moment. and for our chalice extinguishing today. We extinguish this flame, but not the truth it stood for, not the courage of Stetson Kennedy, who walked into darkness and would not look away, not the songs of Woody Guthrie, who gave the weary a reason to keep walking. The fire of this chalice goes out. The fire they lit in us does not. Go in peace. Go singing, blessed be. Our closing song is One Plant, One People. It's a song by Seals and Crofts, performed by our trio today.
Get us one more time.
The duo.
Get the duo. Seals and Crofts for both members of the Baha'i faith. A central tenet of the faith is unity of all things. So this is one planet, one people. Bright is the light of unity. It will light the world for you and for me, if we just reach out so that we can be one planet, one people, please. One planet, one people, please. One planet, one people, please. Please let it be. Please let it be. Storm clouds are coming, I can see it all. The old world is dying, it must crumble and fall. And from every nation I can hear the call. One planet, one people, please. One planet, one people, please. One planet, one people, please. Please let it be. Please let it be. There's never been a people on the earth like us, who stand to gain and prosper or lose so much, if we just reach out so our hearts can touch. One planet, one people, please. One planet, one people, please. One planet, one people, please. Please let it be. Please
Absolutely lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. We know you have many options on what to do on a Sunday morning and how to spend your time, and we're deeply grateful that you chose to be here with us. Following the service, the Zoomies are invited to continue their conversation on Zoom, and all the roomies are invited to go downstairs for some treats and coffee. You may see someone holding a red cup. That's the signal that they're an extrovert. We'd just love to visit with you, so look for those red cups. Some of us masquerade with Burger King cups or whatever, but you'll find us. Visitors, if there are any visitors, I did miss that part. I'm so sorry. I jumped around too much. You know, I set the bar pretty low. If you'd like to be a service leader, see me, we can sign you up. Believe me, I was so introverted today that I just protected the visitors all by myself by skipping that part of the program in interest of time. And anyway. So let's join together if you'd like to, if you're able to, rise and let's make a circle for our closing words. I learned that I need to print this out in paper and not wait and try to do it on the phone, right? So as we join together, let's look around and try to make a little bit of an amoeba-ish circle if you'd like. I'm going to stay up here so Zoom can hear our closing. Here we go. Are we going to make it? It varies from week to week. Sure we are. Close it in. There we go. So, love is the spirit of this fellowship, and community is its goal. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth to love, and to help one another. So may it be. And there's extra magic with a couple of squeeze and shakes. Wave bye-bye to the guys on Zoom now over there, the camera over the door.